In this video, we're going to be looking at adding biome progression to your presets. Biome progression is something that was added to the game in version 1.0 and expanded on in version 2.0. Biome progression is about having the traders in specific biomes and having a progression through the biomes from the forest up through the wasteland. This is optional, but if you want to have biome hazards enabled in your game, it's best to have the map set up to work with them. The first step to adding biome progression to your map is by going to read POI property list. If you're using the import POI property list instead, then you would make these changes in that file that you're importing, but most of you will be using this read POI property list. You're going to take and go down this list until you see the traders. In the default presets, they'll be near the bottom of the list. If you're using a different preset, they may be somewhere else in the list. Once you find them, you're going to want to edit them to make them appear only in the biome that they're supposed to be in. TFP has them set up so that Rect is in the forest, Jen is in the burnt forest, Bob is in the desert, Hugh is in the snowy forest, and Joel is in the wasteland. So to work with biome progression, we're going to add those biomes to these traders. This first one's Trader Bob, so we're going to go to the end of the line, put a semicolon, type biome, colon, desert, because that's where he's at. Next one's Trader Hugh, so same thing, semicolon biome, snow for snowy forest. Joel is in the wasteland, semicolon biome, wasteland. Jen is in the burnt forest, so semicolon biome, colon, burnt. And Rect is in the forest, so semicolon biome, forest. This will set those traders to only spawn in those biomes. Again, this is optional, but if you want it to work with the way they have biome progression set up, this is how you do that. This next step is completely optional, even if you want biome progression. It's using the read town property list command. If you want to have large towns in every biome, you'll want to make the changes that you see here. If you want it to be more random, then you can skip this step. The way it is right now, in the default presets, you have 3 towns. Regular town, which are your large cities, small town, which are the smaller towns, and Old West town, which are the Old West towns. If you leave it how it is, it will try to put an equal number of each town on the map, and it won't try to place them in any specific biome. So you may have a lot of large towns in one biome and all small towns in another biome. To avoid that, we're going to copy all 3 of these. We're going to put one for each biome. So first group for forest, burnt forest, desert, snowy forest, and wasteland. Now to make it easy to keep track of which one is which, we're just going to put the biome name in the front of the command like this. This doesn't change anything, but it makes it so that it's easy for you to look at it and say, oh, that this is for the forest. Because I'm doing this for the forest, we're also going to go to the end of this, just like we did with the trader. I'm going to put semicolon, biome, forest, and then this town will appear only in the forest. I'm going to do that for each of the forest towns, and then do the same thing using burnt for the burnt forest, desert for the desert, snow for the snowy forest, and wasteland for the wasteland. To save time, I've already got it set up, and I'll just paste it in here. So as you see, got 3 for forest, 3 for burnt, 3 for desert, 3 for snow, and 3 for wasteland. At the end of the lines, see forest, burnt, desert, snow, wasteland, and that's the same for each of these other lines as well. One other optional thing that you can do is to set up different town sizes for different biomes. For example, you may want the Old West town to only appear in the desert. If you want to do that, you can take out the forest Old West, burnt Old West, snow Old West, and wasteland Old West, leaving it only in the desert. That will make it so it doesn't appear in any other biome except for the desert. You may also want to make it so the wasteland only has the large cities, the way it does with RWG, so we can take out small town on there as well. You can set this up however you want. You can have different town types in each biome. You can have the same town types in each biome. It's whatever you want to do with that. Now the next step is to set up a biome map that will work with progression. If you were to set up a map that had the forest as a starting point, but then the only biome next to it was a wasteland, it would make it very difficult for you to complete the biome hazards in order. You'd have to try to travel through the wasteland without dying from the hazards in order to get to the burnt forest to start doing that badge. To avoid that, you want to have the biomes set up in an order that will let you travel from one to the next in the order that the game expects you to do it. The best way to do that is to go down to where you have your biome maps set up. In this case, we have create directional environmental biome map. We're going to disable that by unchecking the enabled box. And then we're going to go over to the side here and we're going to click on create directional biome map. Not the environmental one, but just directional biome map. I'm going to click the arrow button to add it to the list. Now you see it over here. The directional biome map makes it a lot easier to set up the biomes in the order that you need for the progression. You can use any of the other kinds of biome maps, but it may take some work to try to get them set up in a way that will work with the progression. You may have to try different parameters and different seeds until you find something that will work. The directional biome map is just a lot easier to do for this, so that's what I'm going to show you here. In this command, the first thing you want to look at is this biome layout. You can see on the side here, I've got screenshots of what each of those does, so you can see what they look like. At the time of this video, these screenshots aren't showing up yet, but they will be in the next release. So as you can see, we have stripes, either going west to east or south to north. We have circles, which starts in the center and works outward. Asteroid, same thing, starts in the center and works out. We have diagonal, and we have curved, which is like diagonal, but a little bit more curved. We have pie chart, which just rotates everything around the center like this. And we have pie chart with center biome, which gives you a biome in the middle, and the other ones around that. Any of these can be set up to work with the biome progression. As you can see, you can easily get across from one biome to the next in any of these layouts without having to go to the wrong biome. The order of these biomes is based on the order of biomes that you have listed on the side here. So in this example, it's set up burnt forest, desert forest, snowy forest, wasteland. That's going to give them in the wrong order. So I'm going to change this around to the correct order. It should be forest, burnt forest, desert, snowy forest, and wasteland. By doing that, it's going to put them in the correct order. In the case of the pie chart with center biome, the first one is going to be the biome in the center of the map. And then the other ones will be the rotation around the map. Choose the layout that you like. Set up those biomes in the correct order. And then your biome map will be set up in a way that will work with the biome hazards. The last thing that you need to do is to go to your create towns command. You need to make sure that you have your biome map name added under biome map name. For most of the time, it's going to be listed as my biome map. That needs to match whatever you have in your create directional biome map command here. Most of the time, that's what you're using. If that is not there, then the create towns are going to ignore the biome map. And even though you've put in the biome information for towns and for traders, it's going to completely ignore that. So make sure that you put in the biome map here so that it will place them in the right order. Keep in mind that using the biome map will make it so your towns only appear in a single biome. So you're not going to see towns that cross between different biomes. Because of the way progression works, that's usually a better option anyways. This is all you really have to do to make the presets work with progression. The main thing is to set up your traders and to set up the biome and to set up create towns to have the biome map name. The town types is the part that's optional. You can set that up however you want, but doing it the way we have it here, you're more likely to see large towns in every biome. Now I've already gone ahead and run this preset with these settings. So we're going to look at the 2D preview. And as you can see, I've done it west to east with stripes. So I've got towns in every biome. If you want to see the traders, we can do a search here for rect. And you can see they're flashing only in the forest. We do gen, see they're flashing only in the burnt forest, and the same is for the traders in each biome. As you can see with this, the towns are all within their own biome. They don't cross biome borders. And because we set up the towns the way we did, we have large towns in each of these biomes. You can also see that the Old West towns are only in the desert because that's how we had it set up. And we only have the large cities in the wasteland. That's all you have to do in your preset to make it compatible with the biome hazards and biome progression. If you do have any questions trying to make that work, or if you have questions about anything else with Teragon, please check out the chat and help channel on Teragon's Discord.